Hey, everybody. It's time for Principles on the Come Up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. My name is Barbara Polk, and today we're going to be talking about, for those of you who are aspiring assistant principals, for those of you who are aspiring principals, we know that this is the time of year where, the interviewing starts. And, for some of us, these interviews can be something that can spark some questions that you had no idea that they were going to ask you during the interview. You know, I can remember the time when I had my first interview. It was horrible. It was ugly. I was not prepared. I thought I was prepared. Um, People tell me, go on and apply. At least just go in and practice and see just, what's up with the application. So, of course, I was not hired for the position that I was interviewed for. And I was completely upset. I was upset. And what I eventually found out is that there are reasons that you don't get hired for the position. I had one of my former teachers who is now an assistant principal to tell me that his dad said something to the effect that if you walk and you fall, it's easy to get up. But when you run and you fall, it's a terrible thing. So the point is that, you walk into that position based upon the kinds of experiences that you have. Sometimes when you get into those positions and you think you're ready and everybody knows you're not ready, when you fall, it's a big deal. So let me tell you, first of all, that some of the reasons why you are not hired for that principal's position. And the first is just obvious: you're not qualified. Your certification is not in line. You may have had some incidents as an assistant principal that people just don't want to overcome because they have other choices. You may have had a poor interview. Now when you get inside that room and you get ready to interview for those positions, you find out that there are some people in there that you didn't know was going to be in there. You thought everybody was going to be friendly, and you thought they weren't friendly to you. So you had a bad interview. It's not your turn. I mean, that's a simple reason. It's not your turn. You're just going to have to learn to wait when it is your time. And remember, a lot of these jobs, I mean, it's politics that's involved. It could have been somebody who has been overlooked year after year after year, and they've just decided that we're going to go through the interview process, but this is the person that we really think that we need to move in that position because they have been loyal, they have been patient. And I know you say, well, that's against the law. Well, that's how it operates on the inside. And by having the interview process, having you come in to do the interview, then that just makes it legal. And the other thing, before I tell you about these interview questions, I want you to know about your reactions when you are not hired for the position. And do not go back to your campus with negative comments about the interview process or who they chose for the position. That is not good. It does not make you look good. You get angry and you go and you interview with another school district, with an adjoining school district. Well, guess what? They talk. They know who's interviewing. All they do is pick up a phone and they will ask questions, about you, and you can be as angry as you can, but that's usually what happens. Or you go and you interview with a new organization. Let's say you may interviews with the prison, or you may interview with the social service agency. I remember I was so angry when I didn't get chosen for assistant principal's job, and I found out that there was a job available at the local juvenile facility. And so I went over there. It was real easy to get the interviews. It's like, and the pay was good. And I called in and they scheduled that interview right away. Then when I drove up to that facility, when I had to be searched. When I walked in, the door locked. When I walked into the next section, the door locked. When I walked in to the area with the interview, it was another slam right behind me. It was like, even though I was in a facility, it was like I had lost my freedom during that time. So while I'm sitting there waiting for the interviews to start, I'm looking out the window and I see youth with white uniforms on, with their hands behind their backs, chained, rows of them, people yelling at them, screaming at them. And I realized, this is not the place for me. This is not the place for me. So if you want to be an assistant principal, there are some questions that you need to be prepared for. So let's get ready and go into those questions. And I'm also going to kind of give you a little information as to how you can answer those questions. So they're going to ask you, tell us about your leadership philosophy and how it aligns with your school's mission and vision. So you're going to tell them that your philosophy is centered around servant leadership. You've learned that in your master classes. You've learned that as you prepared for your leadership certification. And you tell them that, you collaborate, you foster a culture of continuous improvement. And if you don't say those key words, then you're not answering their questions. They want to know what you believe. You believe in empowering people. You believe in supporting your team. You believe in seeing the full potential of people, and that you're deeply committed to aligning the school's efforts with their vision, their mission, and their core values. And that every decision that you make is driven by your shared values, your goals, and the student success. Oh, wow. Okay. That's a good answer. That's a good. Okay. They're going to ask you question number 2. Describe a challenging situation you encountered as an assistant principal and how you successfully solved it. Okay. So, here's your response. As an assistant principal, I encountered several situations where there was significant problems among the teaching staff. There was a morale issue. There was a toxic culture kind of issue. And I addressed those issues by facilitating open communication, clear communication. We did problem solving that focused on the trust and on teamwork. And all of these things help to restore the environment to a working environment in the school. Bam! You've answered question number 2. Let's move on to question number 3. How do you plan to build and maintain positive relationships with the staff, with the students, with the parents, with the community? Okay, so what do you ask? What do you answer? Well, I intend to build these, and of course, you restate the question that they ask you into your answer. So they're asking you how you plan to build and maintain positive relationships. You respond back by saying, building positive relationships is at the heart of effective leadership. They see you've planned. I plan to establish open lines of communication. I plan to listen to my teachers and to my community. I plan to demonstrate empathy and understanding and mutual respect for people who see and hear things differently. And you want to, and I will include all of these people, even if these people have differing opinions. They don't think the way I think. People in the community need to feel valued. They need to feel empowered, because they are a part of our collective success. All right, you're looking smart. You're looking smart. All right, question number four. What strategies would you implement to improve student achievement and academic outcomes in your school? Well, if you are a school like most of the schools that where we teach at and our principals, our assistant principals, we are in schools that need improvement. And your answer to the question is that you're going to focus on data-driven instruction. You're just not going to be teaching without some data to support it. I once heard the saying that in God we trust. All others must bring data. Okay, so you're going to focus on data-driven instruction. You're going to differentiate your learning experiences for teachers, because you have different types of children. You have children who have 504s. You have children who have IEPs, and you have students who just don't get it the first time. So you want to make sure that the intervention is directed towards them, and that they have a support system. So you're going to analyze the data, you're going to identify the growth, and you're going to implement evidence-based instructional practices so that you can ensure that all these students receive the kind of instruction that they need. Bam! Okay. Question number five, how do you prioritize and allocate resources to meet the diverse needs of students and staff? Wow, that's a loaded question. So your answer to that question is, I'm going to prioritize my resources. I'm going to prioritize the funds that are allocated to me that I know it's going to require planning. It's going to be some strategic decision making. And we're going to focus on inclusion and on equity. And even if some states say you can't focus on that, you don't have to call it that, but you know what it is. So you're going to leverage your resources effectively. And that way you're going to ensure that all your students and your staff receive the kind of support that they need and the resources they need. Question number six. Describe your approach to fostering a positive school environment and promoting equity and inclusion. Now, we've talked about fostering a positive climate. We've talked about culture. We know how much how that impacts student success. So your response will be, by fostering a positive school culture, it starts by creating a culture that's safe. We want all our environments to be safe. We want our environment and our culture to be welcoming. We want to include all of our children with 504s, our children with IEPs, our children who are ESL children. We want to include all of those. And that way we are promoting the kind of culture and the cultural competency that you want at that school, so that you can address any systematic barriers that are stopping the promotion of fairness and justice for all members of your school community. That includes the students, that includes the faculty, that includes the members of the community. All right, question number 7. How do you handle conflicts or disagreements among staff members or with parents? Now, your parents, as an assistant principal, do not always agree with you. I have had parents who have met with an assistant principal, and I ask them when they come to me, have you talked to Miss So-and-so, who is the assistant principal? And they say, yes, ma'am. And I do not want to talk to her again. She doesn't know what she's doing. I need to talk to you. You are going to have to handle those conflicts. So whoever the interview team, they want to know, well, how are you going to handle, those disagreements, not only from parents, but, you're going to have some disagreements among your staff. There are going to be some staff members who, don't like the way things are going down. You may have slipped up and you moved quickly and you didn't inform them as to what was going on. So you're going to have conflicts. So you're going to tell them that when you do have conflicts, either with the community or with your staff, you are going to address them directly. You are going to address them calmly, and you are going to address them respectfully. And when you say that, that lets them know, hey, he has his head on right. You want to tell them that you're going to have an open dialogue. You're going to listen to them. You're going to try to work with them collaboratively. And you say, well, yeah, you got some of those parents that just don't understand. Let me tell you about those parents who just don't understand. You have to sit there and take notes, and don't open your mouth, and just take notes about every kind of complaint they have. Just take, and you tell them this is what you're doing. I'm taking notes. And then once I understand completely what your issue is, will you allow me a day or two to do some investigation? And then I will call you for what my recommendation is. It's just that simple. We've been down those roads where we sit there and we try to have an argument with them back and forth. They trying to show you their side. You're trying to show them your side. It's just a bit confusion. But that's my recommendation. Write the stuff down, listen to them, and then get back with them. All right, question number 8. Describe your experience with curriculum development, implementation, and assessment. So you see the direction that the interview team is going through. They want to see how you handle the finances. They want to see how you handle the community. They want to see how you deal with any kind of disruption that's on your class, that's on your campus, that may be between parents and maybe also your teachers on your campus. So now they're moving on to the next, and that is curriculum development, implementation, and assessment. So you're going to tell them that throughout your career, you've been involved, and you have been involved in curriculum development. You've been involved in implementation, and you have had assessment opportunities at various levels. So you know how to assign curriculum. You understand the standards. You understand the best practices. You know how to analyze data to have informed instruction. So that's your answer to question number 8. Number 9 question. How do you stay informed about current educational trends, research, and best practices? Now, if you don't, as an assistant principal, you need to make sure that you receive communication from Texas ASCD, from the National ASCD, from the National Education Association, so that you will keep informed. You know what is a hot topic. So first of all, you're going to tell them that staying on top of things and being current in educational trends and research and best practices is something that's very important to you. And you tell them what professional development opportunities you've had, or what conferences you've attended, or what continuous learning that you're doing. You may be participating in some type of professional development online, and you share that with them. Okay, your next question is, can you provide examples of how you have effectively collaborated with teachers, administrators, and stakeholders to achieve shared goals? Now, you will tell them right away, well, let me think about a situation. Oh yeah, I remember a situation like that. But first, I want to let you know that my purpose is to achieve shared goals. My purpose is to have school improvement. So you've worked closely. So I've worked closely with teachers and administrators and stakeholders to develop strategies, especially with our teachers. They've come up with the plans. I have helped them. We have worked on initiatives, all of these programs to improve the vision and the goals and the mission on my campus. All right, you're rocking and rolling. You're looking good. Okay, so describe your experience with data analysis and how you use data to inform decision making and drive school improvement. Well, they kind of asked a question similar to that earlier, but I mean, they're asking the question. You don't know how the questions are going to come at you, so you just need to be prepared for any kind of questions and any kind of ways that they have changed those questions. Because, it could be that you were not their choice. They had somebody else in mind. But once they see how you are prepared, how you are using your experience, how you are up to date on resources and changes in education, and you are able to articulate that, then they say, well, maybe, it might be another position that this person, might be interested in because, we like what we hear from him. So you're going to tell them that data analysis is a powerful tool in order for you to have informed instruction and informed decision making that's going to drive the school improvement, that the school where you want to become the principal, that's going to be your driving force. And you're going to tell them again that data, by using the data, that you're going to identify the trends. You're going to see just what standards that the students at that school will be struggling with. You're going to tell them that you're going to allocate resources to ensure that the students receive the kind of support that they need. Bam, you've done it again. You've done it again. You're answering these questions. So, it's like, I'm prepared. Come on, just come on with these questions. So they're going to want to know, can you share examples of how you have successfully engaged parents and families in the education process? Now, it could be that you personally did not develop all of these initiatives, but you were able to engage your parents and your students in this education process. So don't think that as you sit in front of your interview team, that all of this has to be something that you develop personally. You have your team of teachers that help you develop things. You have your principal that help develop some things. You have community stakeholders that help develop some things. So they're just asking you to show and give them examples of how you implemented that successfully. So you tell them that you have helped organize family engagements. You have helped parent advisory committees. You have implemented communication strategies. And the communication strategies can be that, you were having an issue and you developed a flyer to give to the parents as they were coming, just to keep them informed. Something as simple as that. So what you're saying is, by providing open communication, collaboration, and shared decision making, that those are examples of how you have impacted families in the community and how you have impacted the students. Right? We're rolling on. We're rolling on. Okay. Describe your experience with crisis management. Okay. You're the assistant principal. You have noticed what your principal has been doing. You have been involved in professional development that your district has provided, or that the fire department or the police department has provided. And they want you to describe how you handle crisis management. So you're telling them, as a school leader, I know how important safety is. And we have a priority where we want to make sure that we take care of the well-being of our students and our staff. That's our top priority. And because of that you've had experience developing and implementing those kind of crisis management plans on your campus. And you have looked at student and teacher preparedness. You have prioritized ways for prevention of issues applied to safety on your campus. You've created a learning environment. You've helped create a learning environment where people feel safe and they feel secure and everybody feels supported. Bam, there you go. There you go again. All right, another question. How do you address the needs of diverse learners and ensure that all students have access to high quality instruction and support services? Now, remember, you are interviewing for a job as principal of a school that needs assistance. Okay. So you're going to tell them that you are addressing the needs of these diverse learners. Your diverse learners are the students who are not special ed, the students who need some special tutoring or special assistance, those students who do qualify for special ed, those students that are SEL, those students that are non-English speaking students. That's who you're addressing. So you're going to tell them that you know that addressing these needs, it just doesn't happen by doing one thing for everybody else and that's going to fit. We know that that does not work. So you're going to tell them that, you have targeted intervention and you have support services, and something that, you have done. You may have say that I've implemented or I have developed inclusive practices where I make sure that as assistant principal that our teachers have interventions in place. You may have something that's called a uniform design for learning. You may have, of course, you're going to have response to intervention. And all the things that you do are going to address your diverse learners, and you're going to support all of these high quality decisions in order to help your students to become students that are excellent and that your students are not in need of the kind of improvement that they need now. All right, I know the questions are getting long, but here we go. I don't want you to walk in there, say that you can't answer these questions or you stumble on answering these questions, because when you walk out of that interview, you're going to go and you're going to sit, you're going to smile, you're going to shake their hand, and you're going to walk out with your nice outfit on, and you're going to go and sit in that car, and then you're going to start thinking about all of the questions that they asked and which ones you felt as though you did a poor job at and the ones you think that you did a good job at. You never know what kinds of questions they will ask. You may be surprised to see the people who are sitting around that table who are going to interview you. It may be something that you had a problem with years ago and you don't know whether that person has resolved the issue or not. But you still are going to do your best. All right, let's move on to the next question. How do you handle accountability and performance evaluation for staff members? And this is a big one. You've had teachers going to their teachers association because you didn't follow the protocol, you didn't follow the professional development, and you messed up. So now is the time for you to tell them how are you going to handle teacher evaluations, and at the same time support them with a positive workforce, because we have some teachers who have the skill to do the job, but they don't have the will. They have the will to do the job because they've been there so long, they know the content. And they have the skill, but they're not. They're just at a point where leave me alone. I'm going to do what I want to do. So what you're going to be able to tell to your interview team is that you want to maintain accountability of performance and evaluation for your staff members, because you know that is essential in order for your staff to grow. You have to make sure that you're giving feedback, and that is productive feedback. It's not a put down. When you go in, and you are going to find something good that teacher is doing in that classroom. I always say you build them up before you tear them down, but you're not going to tear them down. You're going to look at one area that needs to improve, where you can get the most bang for your buck and your students can get the most instruction that they can in order to improve their success. And then you're going to have a culture of where teachers feel accountable. They are just not doing the work, but they know that somebody's going to be checking to see how successful their students are. And you see that through your data-driven instruction. So that's the things that you're going to tell them, and that's what you use to empower teachers, to make teachers feel good, to make teachers know that you're just not walking into that classroom to observe them, to play gotcha, because that's not how you grow teachers. All right, let's move on. Can you discuss your experiences with budget management, fiscal responsibility, and resource allocation in an educational setting? So you're going to say, I haven't had that kind of thing to happen to me personally. It's like I go and I talk to my principal because, I know that budget management and fiscal responsibility is important. And they show me, my principal has shown me the budget, and you understand how important the budget is and how to analyze the data associated with the budget, and you want to use the resources from the budget as effectively as possible, and you know that you are accountable for those funds. And that is the most that I have had experience with budgeting. So here's the last question that you're going to be answered by your interview team. What motivates you to pursue a principalship? And why do you believe that you are the right fit for this role in whatever school that we have available? This question is going to be asked every time by your interview team. I guarantee you. Now, some of the questions that I have gone over, I cannot absolutely say that they will be asked of you when you are interviewing for the principalship, when you are an assistant principal who's interviewing for the principalship, or if you are a teacher and you are in graduate school and you want to become an assistant principal and ultimately a principal. I guarantee you this. They are wanting to know, why do you think you are the best fit for this job? And you are going to tell them the most obvious things. But you have to prepare yourself. You can't just show up there and think you know everything and that, you're just going to be able to answer all these questions. It's like sitting at home watching a game show, with some difficult questions. And you can say, well, why didn't they know that? I know they knew that. Well, yeah, they did. They were sitting at home with their feet up with the air blowing on them while they, sipping on, a cup of tea. Yeah, no pressure. But when you're sitting around that table with your superintendent, assistant superintendent, the director, it is going to be a different environment. So I want you to tell them that you are motivated and that you have a deep passion for education. You are committed to student success, and you have a desire to make a strong and positive impact on the lives of young people. Isn't that true? Don't you have all of that? But you got to prepare. You got to practice. You have to go over all of this. It's just not going to say, boom, here it is. So you're going to tell them, I believe that my contribution and my combination of leadership experience, my educational expertise, and that's right, it's time to toot your horn, my educational expertise and my dedication to including all students and all faculty, all staff, because you have the kind of integrity. People believe in you. You understand that your role as a principal is going to enhance the vision, the mission, and the core values of your school. You're the right person because you work collaboratively with all your stakeholders, all of your parents, all of the organizations in the community, all the business in the community. I'm not saying all, but whenever you have the opportunity, you make sure that you include all of your stakeholders in your school, and that you work collaboratively with them, and that you will help by joining with them to create a school where every student can thrive and succeed. Hallelujah. They're getting it better than that. They're getting it better than that. Okay, so let's look at some preparation tips. Okay. All right. You're an assistant principal. You're busy, busy, busy. By the time you hit that parking lot until the time you walk into your office and move to your assigned spot, you know exactly what your responsibilities are. You have things going on. You can barely eat lunch. By the time you finish eating lunch, you got 2 or 3 kids sitting over there waiting for you because the teacher has written them out. You have to talk to parents. You have to go to central administration for a certain kind of meeting. This time of year, they're also interviewing for principals of summer school. You got all of this stuff going on. And then they call you and they tell you they want to interview you for a principal's position. A full-time principal position, not a summer school position, although some of this information, you can use that in the summer school positions as well. Summer school positions are actually essential to building your skill for when you do have the opportunity to become a principal, and also to help you to become a better assistant principal. But okay, your preparation tips. If this is not your school district, research the school district and understand what their initiatives are and what their challenges are. So, you're showing them, I know where I'm interviewing. I know where I want to come. Please look at your resume and make sure that if there's something on there that somebody around that table wants to discuss with you, make sure you understand and you can explain that clearly. And this one right here, practice answering your interview questions with a trusted friend or a colleague. Don't just walk in there. Get some questions together. I've given you some tips. Practice answering. Create some questions yourself. Talk to somebody who has just recently been interviewed and find out the kinds of questions that they ask them. Okay? And then practice how you're going to respond. Dress professionally and arrive early for the interview. Please make eye contact and smile. Maintain a confident and positive demeanor. Sit up straight, and also be calm. Provide specific examples and stories. Tell a story. They love stories. Tell an anecdote. They call them, and then illustrate your answers and demonstrate. And that will show that you are qualified for the job. And I want you, at the end of the interview, this is something else that I guarantee they're going to ask you, and that is, do you have any questions? Of course, you said, well, no. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But ask thoughtful questions about the school or about the district. And position yourself to show your interest and engagement in whatever initiative they have going on in that district or on that campus. And this is something that most of us don't do. I didn't do it. I should have. I didn't do it. And that's to follow up with a thank you note or something expressing your appreciation for the opportunity to interview with them and just, reiterate your interest in the position. Send them a card. Okay? Send it as an email. It's just going to get caught up with the rest of those emails. Go to your nearest Walgreens or Walmart and get a little thank you card. Find out the person, whoever is over all of the interviewing. Write a little note, do a nice thank you note. Tell them that you're thanking them for considering you, and you want to reiterate your interest in that position. Okay. When they open that mail is going to end up on their desk, and they are going to be reminded of you. Make sure that it's something with some yellow flowers or some red flowers or some blue flowers. Okay. So that they will remember that. So if you are an assistant principal and you are preparing for a principal's position, what I have just gone over with you are all of the questions that's going to prepare you to be offered a position as a principal. All right, so let's see. We got any questions in the chat? Pat Miller, hey, Miss Polk, could you please repeat the last question, Mr. Owens? Okay, the last question. Let me see if I can find that last question, Mr. Owens. The last question is, what motivates you to pursue a principalship, and why do you believe you are right for this role in our school or in our school district? And again, I said that you will tell them that you're motivated by a deep passion for education. Of course you are. You're an assistant principal. You're committed to school success. And you have a desire to make positive impact on the lives of young people. And certainly you have that. But you must be able to articulate that. I believe that my combination of leadership, and you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some of us had as many as 6 years experience as an assistant principal. And you have been able to experience the growth of students, experience the growth of the school as you have supported your principal. And that you are just excited about the opportunity to lead with integrity, to lead with vision, to lead with compassion, making sure that you follow the school mission, that you have helped to create a positive school culture. You're going to work collaboratively with all of your team members and your stakeholders, because you want to we want to have a school where every student can thrive and succeed. Okay, I hope that helped you, Mr. Owens. All right, then those are our questions today for helping you to become an excellent interviewee or an excellent candidate who will be sitting around that table to answer questions about your abilities and your commitment to become a school principal, because you are presently an assistant principal or you are an aspiring principal. And I want you to go to the link below. If you want to join Principals on the Come Up, you can. We have a success manual that's free. You can sign up for that. And you can go to barbaraypoke.com for our website. So that's it today, y'all. Principals on the Come Up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. And as an assistant principal moving up to the principal's position, this is exactly what you are going to do. So we'll see you next week. Principals on the Come Up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. See you next time.